Hello, it is 3 p.m. on October 11th, 2019. Bit of a restless night for me, just anxious, nervous, just some panic attacks just because of my, mental issues, but this is part of the reason why. This is Tropical Storm Melissa, I kept watching this thing throughout the night, and just keep getting wound up. And look at this last. You could clearly see there's an eye here. Um, they're calling it a subtropical storm. But clearly, this thing has some tropical characteristics. Everybody said it wasn't going to have tropical characteristics. Well, sure enough, it has tropical characteristics. And you can see it right here, sitting offshore. Luckily, it's not heading for us, but just very impressive on the satellite here. Very, very impressive. And we're going to actually take a look at several satellite images of this storm before we get into the nitty gritty of what's happening in our atmosphere right now. So let's look at the MODIS, see if we can get an image of that. Here it is. Clearly see an eye right there. There it is. There's the eye. And actually, I was watching through the night. There was also a lot of convection going on around this too. So if we look at the lightning, I wonder if it's still doing it. Let's find the lightning here. Yeah, it's not so much doing it now, but there was a huge explosion of convection last night and early this morning. It's not doing it now, but there was a huge explosion of convection around this thing as it started to make the transition into a tropical system. And if you don't believe me, let's go to the hurricane. So that's not what I wanted to do. Let's go to the hurricane center right now and take a look at this thing. So here it is, subtropical storm Melissa, and the maximum sustained winds are 65 miles an hour. So let's take a look at this thing. Fortunately, it doesn't make a landfall, but we're going to look at the public advisory. Nor'easter centered southeast of New England becomes a subtropical storm. Change in storm status does not change expected impacts from wind and coastal flooding across portions of the mid-Atlantic coast and southeastern New England. So its location is 38.5 north, 69.6 west, about 190 miles south of Nantucket, Massachusetts. The maximum sustained winds are 65 miles an hour. And here's the weird thing about it. It's moving in south-southwest at 3 miles an hour. So it's barely moving. Minimum central pressure, 995 millibars, 29.39 inches. Melissa is moving toward the south-southwest at 3 miles an hour, and little motion is expected today. A turn toward the east-northeast with an increase in forward speed is expected forward speed is forecast tonight, and this motion will continue through the weekend. On the forecast of this track, the center of Melissa will thankfully move away from the east coast of the United States. Maximum sustained winds are near 65 miles an hour. Gradual weakening is expected, and it's expected to lose its subtropical characteristics by Saturday night. Winds of 40 miles an hour extend outward up to 345 miles from the center, primarily over the waters. So the impacts, the 50-mile-an-hour wind gusts, Cape Cod, Martha's Vineyard, and Nantucket. Coastal flooding will continue today through portions of the U.S. East Coast and Mid-Atlantic states, and the swells. There's been flooding already on the South Shore, and this thing hasn't even made landfall. It isn't even that close to us. So let's look at the National Weather Service Twitter. We're actually going to talk about some of this stuff. Here's another satellite loop of this thing. Again, this is subtropical storm Melissa. I'm trying to get a larger image, but I guess it doesn't want to do that. But you can clearly see here, there it is. Let me make this larger. We're going to have to do it this way because it just doesn't want to do it any other way. So here is subtropical storm Melissa. Here it is. Look at that. Look at how impressive that is. Look at the convection around the center. Luckily, like I said, thankfully, the worst stays offshore. It was starting to make back toward Long Island early this morning. It was making me nervous. I didn't do a weather update about it, but it was making me nervous. Um, Here's some of the swells. This was yesterday, actually. Flooding in Hoboken. So there's been flooding along the coast. There's been flooding on the South Shore. Um, if we actually go to News 12 Long Island on Twitter, let me do that. You might actually have some images of it as well, so you can see what's going on. Let's see if they have any images of it. They have been covering it, but yeah, here's what they're dealing with. So this from 8 hours ago. You can see the flooding in Lindenhurst. There's been flooding on the South Shore, and this happened last night. A restaurant in Bayshore had to be evacuated due to flooding. So this thing is not even that close. And imagine if it made landfall. So this is what I mean. This is the reality of climate change that we're dealing with here. And the South Shore is not a place that people should be going to. This is why I don't want to go there. You know what I mean? Even if I could, I really don't, because this is the future. You know? So let's see what else I want to look at. You'll want to look at the radar. Let's go back to this. I'm actually on this already. Tropical storm warnings are now in effect for the offshore waters, and we have gale warnings in effect. Here is the radar. It's just a couple of light sprinkles or showers around, very light, nothing really heavy out there. The rain definitely didn't really materialize that much. Well, we're going to take a look at the current conditions, so let's go ahead and look at the current conditions right now. Outside, 63 degrees, northeast wind at 10, gusting to 23. It's overcast. Let's go further east to West Hampton. 57, north wind at 18, gusting to 31. I want to see how much rain they got last night. Not much. Not much. Looked like there was some impressive showers out there, but I guess it missed the West Hampton station. Let me see if they wound up hitting Shirley at all. Let's see. Nope, they did not. Okay, so let's go even further east than that, because this is where they're getting hit hard, is Nantucket. So let's see what's going on in Nantucket right now, because see how much worse it is. So 56 degrees, northeast wind at 28, gusting to 40. And they've gotten quite a bit of rain too. So 1.41 inches of rain yesterday. And if we work our way west, it's not as bad. If we go over New Jersey, it's not as bad. Look at Toms River. 61, not so much wind over there. So, and no rain. So this is what's going on in our area. I do want to look at some marine observations too. In fact, let me do this. Let's make it a little easier. We'll go to the hazards map. Let's look at this. Observations. Let's toggle this on. And this will show the winds. And these, I guess, are the wind gusts over here in red. So, you see offshore, you got some wind gusts 38 miles an hour, 39, 45 mile an hour gusts. The Cape Lakes, this area seems to be getting hit the hardest. A couple of wind gusts here too, though, 46. So, this doesn't really, alright, I still want to do the marine thing because I want to show you the waves that are being reported offshore, so let's go to that. Alright. Let's see, we can get the waves here. Doesn't really give me the info. You know what, let's just click on the individual stations. See, southeast of that one's not working. No, it is working. Alright, so what do we got here? Wave height 14 feet at Block Island. Let's see, south of Fire Island. Wave height's at 11.5 feet. Southwest of Montauk Point. Going to be higher over here, I know it. And this buoy seems to be out. Okay, so alright, that's the best information I can give you on the storm. Look at it on windy.com as well. So here it is. See, the worst of the wind is offshore. There's the eye. And again, this is a they're calling it Subtropical Storm Melissa because of where it's formed, but in every essence, this thing's a tropical storm. Let's look at the wind gusts. It has some extratropical characteristics, but it also has a large amount of tropical characteristics. So assume you look at the fact that there's an eye here. Alright, so worst of the wind is offshore, fortunately. Alright, so that's the important thing. So let's move this thing along here. This is windy.com, so this is looking at the euro. You see, it moves away. Tomorrow, it's already out of here by the afternoon. It's pulling away. Thank God. Thank God. So I'll shift over to these other models now. Shift over to these other models and see what's. Look at the wide view. So here is Melissa. Finally moving away. Try to get some weak high pressure for the weekend. Try to get another high building in next week. And then another low pressure system, just extratropical low pressure system possibly forming around Wednesday, Thursday. That pulls out. And we have fair weather Thursday into Friday. Then that ridge from hell tries to build in again. So we'll have to see what happens. And then it's defeated, though, relatively quickly. So let's go and get a closer look at our area. And we'll see. So there is Melissa. Melissa pulls away. Thank God. Thank God it could have just as easily hit us. Thank God it didn't. So we'll first start off with the temperatures. Alright, so let's move into tomorrow. Temperatures recovered to around 70. Cools down a little more on Sunday, mid-60s. Then we're back up to 70 on Monday. So still running a little above normal. Cools off again a little more on Tuesday. Warms up a little more ahead of that next cold front. And then we start seeing a more substantial cool down for Thursday. We're in the mid-50s. And rising up to around 60 on Friday, then up near 70 again for next weekend, and it could warm up again. So it's been, it could still warm up again, October 21st, and then so we're still dealing with some stubborn warmth that doesn't want to go away completely, but at least it seems that we're getting some cooler weather in between that. Let's look at the dew points and see what kind of humidity we're going to be dealing with here, because again, here is your storm Melissa that pulls away. I don't think the humidity is going to be an issue that much anymore as we head in. They just give you some basically warm-ups ahead of cold fronts, and then, that's it. And then more or less cools down nicely after that. As we go into this week, we could see it could be some indication of a little bit of warm and humid weather as we get to around Monday, October 21st, and then that's just ahead of another front, though. Another front moves through, and then we'll really get some relief. So let's look at the sky cover. See if we can get some sunshine, because it was annoying yesterday. We had sunshine and just couldn't take advantage of it. Had other stuff to do. It just wasn't, I wasn't expecting it. So unfortunately, stuck in the clouds for the rest of the day. Tomorrow, Sunday, looks like we try to get out of it, but then more clouds roll in on us. Maybe Monday we may get rid of the clouds. That looks like the next day they could be sunny, especially over New Jersey. And then Tuesday we have more clouds roll in. Wednesday another stronger front moves through, and then Thursday looks like it's sunny, especially over New Jersey. Again, more sunshine over New Jersey. For Friday, you may see mostly sunny skies as well. We'll have to see what happens with that. And then after that, more clouds again. So let's go ahead and look at the NAM model in regards to sky cover. So keeps us in the clouds today. Tomorrow we'll probably just have high clouds, maybe. According to the NAM, it would just be high clouds. And then this goes through Sunday, so it's still stuck in the clouds. And we try to get rid of these clouds for Monday, but it doesn't go any further beyond that. As far as the storm goes, I'll look at the storm on this model too already, because there it is, pulling away, thankfully, pulling away. You can all breathe a sigh of relief. But after that, maybe a chance of showers Sunday night. You can see some with that front, but other than that, let's look at the wind on this. And there's that wind field from Melissa. Pulls away. So, thank God this thing's going out to sea. It's going away, and it's not hitting us, because this could have been this had the potential to be a whole lot worse than it was. And thank God it really wasn't that bad for us at all, and I'm very grateful for that. Next time we may not be so lucky. Let's see if there are any power outage situations going on in these areas too. So let's look at Massachusetts. It looks like you have a couple thousand people without power in Massachusetts. So let's see what's going on over there and see what areas are being impacted by power outages in Massachusetts. It's probably the Cape. No, there's 251 in there. None out in there. None out over there. Trying to figure out where those 1,000 power outages are coming from. Looks like a little further, more to around Boston, Suffolk County, and it seems like there's a large outage there. So, yeah, this area is still getting affected by the wind. So it's, you can have some scattered power outages. Not that many on Long Island. Just very little. I already checked. So we're very fortunate again that there haven't been too many power outages from this. But the flooding issue is definitely an issue along the coast. I'll check it, get some more pictures. Let me see if we can get some more pictures here. Flooding Long Island. Let's see. We can get some more images on Twitter. So here we go. Flooding, coastal flooding causes some dangers. Somebody took a video here. Freeport coastal flooding. So, parts of Long Island and feeling in New Jersey. So here's another image of it. So, along the water there's flooding. Major flooding, Bayshore. Look at this. Look at this. Is from Fios 1. So I'll try to gather some articles about the storm, put them in the description below. Climate change wreaking havoc. Too dry or too wet in the U.S.? Take your pick. Yep, that's right. That's exactly right. So that wraps up this weather update. I'll keep you posted on the storm. Fortunately, it is moving away from us. But this is just a sign of what we're going to be dealing with more often as we deal with the effects of climate change. Anyway, thank you for watching and take care.